here today. Welcome to Intellectual Chocolate. And I'm gonna tell you what, I have the honor and the pleasure to bring in a very special guest. Her name is Michelle Kolchak. Now, Michelle is she's the creator of a viral video that many of you saw yesterday. If you follow, my podcast, I know you saw it because I played it all day long in anticipation of everybody getting to meet her today, because she presented a point of view that I thought was just refreshing, unique, and off the chain. So without further ado, I want to welcome Miss Michelle to the show. How you doing today?
I'm good, and I want to thank you for having me.
Yes, well, thank you so much for coming on. It means a lot. I'm so glad we were able to connect. Because I do think that those of us who have different points of view, even whether we agree or not, even if I didn't agree with what you were saying in your video, I happen to agree. But even if I didn't agree, I love the fact that you were saying things that were not mainstream. You were giving a point of view that I've seen reflected by hundreds of thousands of people that isn't being reflected in media, and you were laying it out there. So I'm gonna show the video in a second, but I'm gonna first ask you a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are, what do you do, where do you come from, all that good stuff.
Well, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I've been in a lot of places. I'm currently in Colorado now. But what I do is I do what I do for my people. I'm constantly out here in the community trying to do things, working with different organizations to get stuff done. I would say in working with organizations, I tend to find that they always want to be politically correct. So sometimes I don't know where that leaves me because, as you can see, I'm not the one to be politically correct. Other than that, I would tell you that I'm a spoken word poet. And my poetry probably comes across just like my video did. I mean to hurt feelings, but I mean to bring truth, and I mean to educate my people when I do it. So I'm a mom of 5, a Black woman that's struggling like the rest of us in this country to, maintain and survive every day, like, as well as everybody else. So that's who I am.
Did you say mother of 5?
Yes.
Really? Wow. So how old are your kids?
9, 13, 14, 16, and 21.
Wow, I can't imagine growing up in that household. That's like a powerful experience.
Well, my mother has 9, so my household is a little bit easier than the one I grew up in, so I can manage.
Wow. Well, you know what? What I want to do is, I know a lot of people have questions, and this is your show. This is a time where I just want everybody to hear from you. And so I'm gonna try to do as little talking as possible, because Lord knows, like everybody else, when I saw your video, so many reactions came out of me, so many things I wanted to say, starting with amen, hallelujah, keep going. But before I actually show the video, I want to ask you another question. So just from your perspective, how many people do you think saw the video, and what was sort of the feedback you were getting on social media?
Well, when I last checked this morning, I'm at about 900,000 views. There's over 12,000 comments. What I will say, and I want to highlight first before I get into the negativity, is that many people's response is they feel the same way, right? It's a lot of love. It's a lot of our people saying, I agree. I've been saying this, or I feel the same way. I just didn't know how to say that. It's a lot of love, right? But then there are some tones of Stockholm syndrome seeping out from some of our other people on the post. There are some people who can't get over my vulgar mouth. I could have heard your point, but did you have to, be so vulgar with it? And I guess my response to them would be, if my words and my cuss words offend you, how can you as a Black person sit back and watch the brutality that happens to us day to day, watch people be shot and killed by the police for no reason, but you are offended by the vulgarness of my cuss words and my anger and my outrage that is very much justified, right? So I'm not going to say I don't understand that. Like I do. Like I said, it sounds like Stockholm syndrome to me. At the end of the day, the things that happen to us are more than vulgar, right? And they're very blatant and in our face every day. So if my words offend you as a Black person, I think they should probably step back and really take a look at the things that should be offending them in this country, and it shouldn't be my cuss words.
Well, as you mentioned very articulately yesterday, you have no fucks to give, or I don't think you should have any fucks to give. And I agree with you. I mean, I think that what we got to ask ourselves as Black people is, at what point have they done enough to you that you have a reason to cuss a little bit? You know,
Yes.
at what point are you allowed to be angry? At what point do you, I mean, they've been doing this to you for 400 years. They literally have been fucking you for 400 years in a multitude of ways. No Vaseline, you know, leave you on the side of the road. At what point are you going to be angry? At what point are you going to feel like it's okay to get mad? You know, and so you know whether people how people feel about the profanity, it's so interesting because that is such a non-issue,
Right.
you know, in terms of what you were trying to say. I thought the profanity was hilarious, you know. I thought, and I also thought it was you. It was your you expressing your freedom. You know, you're sort of really using your freedom of expression, and so it doesn't surprise me you're a spoken word artist, because you know I saw that. I said, okay, there's some talent here. Like it's not just somebody who, because again, it'd be one thing if you were just cussing and screaming and yelling and didn't make any sense, but it was like everything was laid out coherently. You know, it was actually a really good argument you were making. You just happen to have some energy behind it that I think is what a lot of people really love. You know, so what do you say about? So let me ask you this: it's not that often I meet people who cuss more than I do. So is that like a regular thing? So are you a big cusser too?
Yes, I am a cusser. It was so funny. I got a text from one of my friends this morning, and she said she saw the video that you did yesterday coming through the feed. She said, and she saw my video. She said, and when I heard him say, "This woman cusses more than I do," she said, "I knew he was getting ready to show your video." I am a cusser, right? I am a cusser, but I would like to point out that cussing, like most people think, means that you're not educated. I carry several degrees, so fuck out of here. How about that?
There you go.
But cuss words are part of the English language, right? And they're very necessary. They have their places when they are there. And yeah, I'm a cusser. I like cuss words.
Well, you know, I mean, studies actually showed it. I think have you seen that study that actually says that people with higher intelligence levels tend to cuss more?
Cuss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that can be our excuse. Or maybe we just
But
some foul mouth
I'm
motherfuckers.
gonna say it's true. Look,
Right. Let's
it's a
assume the
real
shit's true.
study, y'all, and it's
There you
showing.
go. There you go.
Y'all
All
should
right.
cuss a little more.
So what I'm gonna do is I want everybody to see the video again.
Okay.
It's about 6 minutes, so we'll probably maybe stop 2 or 3 minutes in, maybe if there's a point to stop. But I might just play the whole thing too. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But I want everybody to sort of see you know what Michelle had to say, and then I would love to hear you, Michelle, kind of just explain and kind of break down the thinking in specific areas. And I'm gonna look and see if I see any interesting questions as well. So
Okay.
you good with that?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, so let me make sure I don't mess this up. Okay. All right, so I am going to hit the button in 1 second. There we go.
Okay, so I got some shit I got to say. I ain't done my motherfucking hair. It's still early around my house. I give no damn though. I am so motherfucking tired of watching black folks on social media criticize other motherfucking black folks because we are taking the stance, and I'm gonna say we, because I take that same motherfucking stance, that we don't give a fuck about what Bill did. And we don't give a fuck about him going to jail either. Like, he guilty, okay, he going to jail. At the end of the day, we give no fuck. But let me go a little bit more in detail. I'm tired of watching you black motherfuckers, okay, get on here and criticize your people on your platform and talking shit and saying things like, if we sit here and say, oh, we give no fuck about Bill, what about the white person or this person or that person, and we point out another person that should be locked the fuck up as a white man, but they're not, right? Then you tell us that we sound like the All Lives Matter, or people who say, what about all the white folks that are killed by black folks? Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? The shit that I see make me want to jump through the screen and wish I could slap. I wish it was a slap a motherfucker response, like when they open their phone, like a hand jump out the phone and slap the fuck out of you, okay? Are you, as a black person, are y'all really fucking going off on y'all people and comparing us to like All Lives Matter? Right? We're taking the focus off of Bill to focus on white people when we should just be like, oh, Bill is guilty and he go to jail. Let's leave it at that. No, we're not gonna fucking leave it at that, because this is my problem here, okay? First of all, Bill is one of many, right? But the difference between Bill and the other many is that he is a fucking black man, right? This Me Too movement, when it started, first of all, a black woman started that shit, right? But then nationally, it got hijacked by fucking Becky, right? So now it's turned into what the fuck happens to Becky? Who's misusing her pussy? Who's leading her on and having affairs with her at work? Whose dick she sucked because she thought, nobody said that she would, that she might lose her job if she didn't suck the dick, right?
I got to pause right there because I'll tell you I thought that was so. I have a bunch of questions I'm gonna ask, but I'm gonna reduce it to a couple. All right, so first of all, when you talk about people with their platforms, right, attacking black people who are seeing the injustice in the Cosby case, because you heard me speak on this in terms of what I think, and I know what you feel as well. What specific, did you have any sort of people in mind, any platforms in mind where you kind of like, was there anything that triggered that reaction?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
was it?
I have been seeing a lot of like, people responding to people's posts, but it's a brother, and I ain't gonna throw his name out there because I don't want everybody to go and like then coonicize him because he is a brother. But he has a big platform, and he decided to make a post, and his post was that we sound just like we're no better than the people that say, "What about all lives matter?" or "What about all the black folks that kill?" White folks, what about that? And he was saying that a rapist is a rapist is a rapist and he doesn't care. But at the same time, I watch him, which led into something that I say later in the video, that there are a lot of men that I watch that want to kiss ass when it comes to women. They are careful to say the most politically correct thing when it comes to the issues with women today because they don't want to be thrown into this Me Too thing and attacked. And I completely understand that, but then I would prefer if he just shut the hell up, right? Just shut the hell up. Don't put your people out there. But he had made a post. I said something to him on the post, like, it's not the same. How do you compare us in that manner, right? And not understand that if black people don't care, they don't care. Like, give them the right to feel that way. And his response was something stupid like, well, if you're not one of those people who are saying it's okay for Bill to rape, then I'm not talking to you. So yes, I'm sure he's seen the video, and I won't say his last name, but Jason, that response was for you and many others. So if you're watching this now, know that that was my response versus putting it on his post. But that was the thing that triggered me finally, and then I went and I made the video because of that, because I just see it far too much. And it's like, if the white people want to do that, fine, let them do that, right? But stop attacking your people. Like, we have the right to be angry. We have the right not to care. Like, why should we damn care about the situation? And since I'm talking about that, let me bring up the fact that people keep saying, but there were black women too. So let me address that. Okay, there were about 4 or 5 out of 50. I want to make it very clear that Bill is not going through what he's going through because he did what he did to the 5 black women. Had it just been 5 black women, we wouldn't be dealing with this at all. Okay, we are only dealing with this because 45 of those women are white. That's why we're dealing with this right now. Okay, so, and I thought it was very very intelligent from the white world of supremacy, how they use the sister after the verdict to come to the mic and say, the Me Too movement has finally given us no, fuck out of here. No, y'all put that sister up there to say that so that it would neutralize the black community, so that you would have the few that are out there saying things like, well, what about the sister? It's all the same. He needed to be in jail. Okay, but I want you to know that the Me Too movement is not about black women, because if it is about black women, then we should make it about the black women that are being assaulted by R. Kelly, all the black young girls that are coming forward saying, I'm being molested, these things have been happening to me. Instead, we talk about old ass motherfucking women, white women that look like men. I'm gonna say that shit because y'all all thinking it. And here she is, and we're worried about these women who have got paid, who have gone on with their life, who are grown, who obviously ain't that goddamn traumatized. I mean, they mustered up some motherfucking tears. Kudos to you. But at the end of the day, what about the real black young girls that this movement is supposed to be about? I'm not buying it.
Well, I think that your point, I think that your point is really interesting, because I want to make sure it's clear. I want you to kind of speak on this, because people might get it twisted. I think there are some people who might think you're defending Bill Cosby, that that you're saying, oh well, he's an innocent man, and I love him, and he needs to be free. You're not saying that at all. Is that correct?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we want to talk about law and you want to talk about the unevenness of how we're treated in this country, I think it's a perfect example of that, right? If Bill is going to be called to the carpet for the things that he has done, and let's throw out there too, when we talk about the statute of limitations, that when things go past that, that's the law, right? So, I mean, I know people personally who have gone to police many years later and tried to tell on a family member or somebody because when they were young, they were vulnerable, they were in a position they couldn't, and they were told the statute of limitations is up. We can't do nothing for you. So, but we yet and still we can do this to him. So it's fine. Like, he admitted to doing some of these things, and if he did that, yes, he should pay. But at what extent should he pay over white men not paying who just did they shit like last year, last week, last month? Like, their statute of limitations ain't nowhere near up, but nobody is calling them to the carpet. So if we can remove that emotion of oh, well, how are you sticking up for Bill? I'm not sticking up for Bill, right? Bill went to court. Bill got charged. He got found guilty. He's going to be sentenced. So now can we focus on the fact that that's not happening to any white men? Can we focus on that? Can we talk about all the crimes that come against our people? You know, and people bring it up, and I think it's a perfect example. What about the white lady? Ain't she like 80 years old? Somebody said she did. And if she did, I'm gonna need y'all to go dig her motherfucking casket up. That bitch is not allowed to lay in the cemetery in some cushy shit. Sit her casket in a motherfucking cell and let that bitch casket fucking rest there for the rest of her life, okay? If she is dead. If she ain't, why we not bringing charges against her? Because even though what Bill did was heinous, nobody died. So come on, nobody died, right? So fuck out of here. We got cops killing 12-year-old boys in parks and in empty parks, right? Empty parks. So even if it was a real gun, who was at threat, right? But then a week later, we got a white man in a goddamn park full of kids, and they spent hours talking his ass down. I was waiting for them to shoot him like 30 motherfucking times, but it didn't happen. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at if you don't see that this case is about race for everybody else except for the black people caping. It's not about race. Yes, it is. It is about race. Okay. And so I get tired of people overlooking that, right? Bill is getting his just due. I would kind of say he's probably getting a little bit more than his just due, right? Because black people, that happens to them. But at the end of the day, it's just not, it's not fair. And that's the thing. He's getting it, but why is nobody else getting it? And that's what I need black people to see.
Well, you know what's funny is, and by the way, I'm talking to Michelle Kolchak, who is the brilliant woman who released that viral video on the Bill Cosby case. That's who I'm speaking to. So some of y'all watching on Instagram, you can't see her face. If you want to actually see her actually speaking, you can actually go to facebook.com/Dr. Boyce Watkins. On Instagram, I just have you guys on my phone. And also, by the way, if you're in Chicago, I'm in Chicago for the rest of the day, so feel free to stop by tonight at drboycechicago.com for more information. But let me show you this picture. I'm gonna show you this picture, Michelle. Now, what goes through your mind? Can you see the picture?
Mm-hmm.
What goes through your mind when you look at that picture? You alluded to it quickly earlier, but I think it's just an interesting thing to kind of observe. What the fuck was going through your head when you saw this shit right here?
Well, first of all, I wanted to be sure that she was a woman.
Right. Right. I really was like, what the hell, man? Like, what the hell? Seriously. Like, you know, and I think it's funny. It's almost like people were scared to say it because they thought maybe it would be like you know, they turn everything into like victim blaming or victim or whatever little term they make up to, you know. But really, like, I mean, is this like, I mean, what does that say about? Does that say anything to you about Cosby? Does that offend you at all as a black woman? That this man who was worth, you know, $400 million, who could have, you know, used a lot of that money, who did use some of that money, you know, for black people and black families, that he gave $3.4 million to this person who some people say looks like Colin Kaepernick. Like she really is.
It looked like a drug addict, and that's why her money gone, and she needs some more. That's what she looked like to me, right? But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, even though she her skin color's right, she a snowflake, even though she looked like a rock kind of snowflake. But at the end of the day, it's her skin color that's all that matters. But the lady looked like life has been hard on her. She looked like she done some drugs, and it looks like they used her, and she used this opportunity because she wanted some more notoriety, she wanted some more money, she wanted some more whatever, right? When I see her, I'll tell you what I definitely don't think. Me motherfucking too. I don't think me too when I look at her.
Well, you know what really I think also takes her just out of any of that is, I don't understand this, you know. Give me your take on some of it. You know, I was actually, honestly, I was a little offended when I found out that he had paid her so much money. Usually when you take that money, It doesn't make everything right, but it's a start. We have black men and black women that have done 20, 30 years in prison for things they did not do, who can't even
Right.
get a $25,000 check. And here this lady got 3.4 million for, whatever she says happened, that where there's no proof at all, but you said it happened, so you got paid, and you sign. And when they give you that money, you sign an agreement saying, okay, it's done. I'm not going to talk about it. It's over. They always do that, but yet she still seemed to feel that she hadn't received justice yet. And I just wonder again. I'm hesitant to talk too much about that because I'm a man, right? And I don't know, like men, we look at things related to sex differently sometimes. Like for example, a lot of guys I know who, they say, oh well, if a pretty girl wanted to take it from me, she could just take it. You know what I mean? Like some guys talk like that, right? So men have to be educated on the real trauma that does come in a real sexual assault, right? So, but I'm curious to know, with you as a woman, what are your thoughts about that? That she got so much money, but yet she still felt that she had to, push through to violate the statute of limitations. She was, from what I read, she was actually involved in, or her and her attorneys were involved in getting that district attorney elected so that he could go after Cosby because they
Right.
wanted to get the other one out of there. And all of this. What are your thoughts when you hear all of this?
Well, I think it is very much political in that sense. I think that at the end of the day, they found a woman and they said, these are things that happen. And I think that they went and brought her and they coerced this whole situation so that they could shut Bill down. I mean, whether you like Bill or you don't like Bill, or whether you agree with the stance or you don't, the bottom line is with his money and with his wealth, he was trying to go into places, into areas that white folks don't want people to have, which is a voice and where you can reach, and have type of things that are for our people like that. So at the end of the day, I also think that it's a perfect thing in the beginning of the Me Too movement to turn around and take white women and then convict the black man and say, see, we get justice for black people and look at the Me Too because there were black women that were involved in this too. But I personally am offended because I will say that in my reading, now if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but my understanding is that she was not raped. Okay, she was molested. Okay,
Right. And that there is a difference, right? I
there
mean,
is a
but
difference.
you say it
Yeah.
because I mean,
Because
if I say
I
it,
know of
go ahead.
women, right? I have experienced things in my own life that I would consider sexual assault beyond just molestation, right? And for someone to be raped is a completely different thing. So people keep saying rape and they're not mindful of these words. Like I think the wording that they used was he was found guilty of indecent something assault, but it wasn't aggravated indecent sexual assault. It's not rape in the sense that people think rape is. Like he fondled the lady, right? He molested her and he felt on her. And at the end of the day, to me, it pisses me off as a woman because it's a slap in the face to those of us that have really gone through trauma or something like that, right? I don't equate her being felt up to a woman really being sexually assaulted. And I'm not saying there aren't those cases that said that he did, but we're talking about her ass. Is this not why he's in court? Is this not why he's been found guilty? So if we're talking about her ass, she got 300, like you said, she got $3 million or something from him, and all for being like groped. Right? And then you still gonna charge the brother. If y'all don't see the ridiculousness as black people in this situation, then like I said, I'm gonna need y'all to I don't know, in the movie, how do we get folks out the sunken place? Like break them damn teacups or something. I don't know, but how do people not see this, right? Like, because from a woman, to me, this is bullshit. And for a woman that can use the Me Too hashtag for me, for my damn 16-year-old daughter, right? That the Me Too hashtag, I can use that and I am justified in using it in my life, right? That women like this come forward and you want to scream Me Too for her? Hell no. I'm not buying that. I'm offended. I'm offended as a woman, right? For $3.5 million, and see, here goes something else. People gonna be like, what? For $3.5 million and all this shit you done went through, she might as well got really motherfucking raped. Because to me, this is some bullshit. Now you go ask the real rape victim how the fuck they feel, and it's some bullshit, right? We're making this big old media sensation over a woman that was molested. I laugh about that because there are black girls right now that this movement was created for that are being molested, right?
Mm-hmm.
You a grown-ass woman and you've been molested, right? Can we give these girls some money for some of that counseling? Can we help them out? Can we get some justice for them? I mean, let me throw this point out there too. I mean, because I'm talking in that topic, but talking about how this is like, I want to show an example of another black man compared to Bill to show you how it's racist without even bringing the white people in. This is about white women, right, versus black women. To go back to what I said in my video, that they don't give a fuck about us. Me Too done etched us completely out. That's why I laugh when they had the sister walk to the mic. Me Too has had its moment. Shut the hell up. No, it hasn't. You just got sucked in. You've been in a sunken place to stand up there and say that dumb shit, okay? Because there are women right now. Let's go back. I don't know how old I was when I seen the video of R. Kelly, right? Have sex with a 14-year-old girl and he peed on her on video for everybody to see. That is a crime. It is a crime. It is a crime. That is not like domestic violence, okay? Domestic violence is something when, you know, things go about and you can say, I want to drop the charges. I've been harassed. I don't want to do those things. But what R. Kelly did was a crime to the point that it's really not up to the person that's being abused. That's something that the state will pick up and say, you have raped this child because she cannot give consent, right? And you did this to her. It's on video. That man didn't go to jail though, right? And here we are many years later. How many other women has he victimized? How many other young girls? That's the key. Young girls, not old ass white crackheads that got money and come back 30 years later. How many black young girls since that time that we did not do anything about R. Kelly has he victimized up until this point? My point in saying all that is R. Kelly is a cancer to his own people. So you leave him there so his cancer can fest and he can destroy and traumatize women and his people even more. But when you fucking touch our snowflakes, even when they look like the fuck she look, we have a problem with that. Now, I'm gonna leave y'all with this line, and I'm gonna let y'all finish it in your own mind. Had R. Kelly had sex with a 14-year-old white girl, what you think would have happened to him as soon as he pissed on that white girl on video? What would have happened? He would have been a cancer to white folks, so they would have done away with him. But when you are a cancer to your own people, and when you are traumatizing black women that the meet and young girls that are really being molested, okay, by grown ass men, then you don't want to have nothing to do with that. Leave him there. He's destroying his own motherfucking people. But when you touch our white women, it's a problem. See, it's sad that we're still in 2018. And as black women, you need to tell your sons, like they did way back in the day, stay the fuck away from them white women.
Well, you know what? I can't disagree with you. I mean, you know, in fact, I remember reading studies that basically say that when it comes to prosecution, it's not the race of the perpetrator that matters; it's the race of the victim. And basically white women are the most protected group of people in this country. I mean, if you look at that Cosby case, you know, you could have had something similar happen 200 years ago. I mean, literally, it's a black man getting a sentence that he did not deserve. They bent the rules to go get his ass. White women being allowed to just be believed no matter what comes out of their mouth. Nobody questions the word of a white woman, right? And that, you know, and that's what's really fascinating is that people treat the word of a white female as if it's gold. It cannot be, you know, it perjured or impeached or anything. And I'm sitting there looking at these cases, and I'm like, in fact, did you know, Michelle? I was looking at the because I was trying to figure out, you know, Bill Cosby's financial situation, because you know he was making over $1 million an episode back in the 1980s. You know, he had more wealth. He was making more money. I think he was making like $84 million a year in the 80s, which would be like somebody now making almost $200 million a year, right? No black celebrities are doing that. You know, Beyonce, Jay-Z can't come near that, right? And so, you know, when I was looking at that, I was looking to see what kind of civil suits he had, and I saw the suits, and the three major suits. I remember one of them was Janice Dickerson, the drug addict who admitted that she lied on the stand, who has still provided no proof that anything happened. And you know, and again, it's like, okay, you're hanging out the Playboy Mansion and you're a drug addict, and you at the Playboy Mansion fucking everything that moves, but yet you expect us to be able to sort out this idea that Bill Cosby somehow drugged you and has sex with you against your consent. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means that it's confusing as fuck, especially if you have no evidence, like nothing to support your case. And then there's another one. There's another lady from 1974. I said, God, that's what, 44 years ago? Is that right? Am I doing the math right? That don't even sound right coming out of my mouth. Like it sounds like I did a mathematical miscalculation. Like, no, it can't be 19. Come on, boy. 44 fucking years ago, no evidence. My God, if that's what it is, I mean, if we really have fairness, because to me, that's what your video is all about. It's all about fairness. That's it. Right. You're saying, look, if you're gonna do it this way when it comes to black people, do it this way for everybody. Fairness would say, okay, shit, since we going back and we grabbing crimes from 50 years ago, then black people should be the first in line for that shit. Because we probably each know about 40 black people who could, who could come up and make a report on some shit that happened to them in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. And that don't even, I mean, we ain't even talking about what our grandparents and great grandparents went through. So you're ignoring all of that, even though there is evidence to this, right? You're ignoring all of that, but yet these white women come in, many of whom have very checkered past, many of whom are proven liars, many of whom did things that just don't make any sense. Like, you calling Cosby over and over again, going to his house, bragging to your friends that you know him, taking money from him for the next decade. And now suddenly the script is flipped. It just seems, it's kind of crazy. And then when you consider how much money Cosby was sitting on, he was sitting on a pot of gold. And that's what it is. I mean, did no black man have that kind of money back then? And I really, and that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing people, the problem is, it doesn't mean that you don't go after people when they do things like this, but it does mean you got to have some level, some standard of scrutiny that you pursue. Because if you don't have any scrutiny, then any crackhead on the goddamn street can walk in and be like, he assaulted me in 1969, and you can't ask me any questions about it, because if you ask me any questions for any proof, you are attacking the victim.
Stop that. Let me say that as a woman. That's one of my biggest issues. Let me say as a woman to everybody listening, women motherfucking lie. I made a video about it. It didn't get as many views back in the day. Y'all want to go check it out? Check it out. About how I feel about this feminist movement and this Me Too and all of this. Women fucking lie. They lie all the time. And I guess this is the thing that I laugh at as a woman when it comes to feminism, is that one minute you say, we want equality. But then the next minute you say, let me pull out my privilege. But I'm a girl. You should just believe me. You can't ask for equality and steady fucking use your privilege at the same damn time. Fuck out of here with that, right? Women lie. They lie all the damn time. And I'm not even down with this feminist movement to the point either where they want to say, if you want to be a hoe, you can be a hoe. It's your right. Okay, go be a hoe. But when you are treated like the hoe that you act like, do not say you can't treat me like a hoe because this ain't right. If you decide, you have all the right as a woman in your feminism to be a hoe, to hang around, to get drunk, to get drugged, to lay around, to go to men's hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning, acting like you don't know what you're going there for. But when you conduct yourself as a hoe, yes, you have all rights to do that. But when you get treated like a hoe, you do not get to say, you can't treat me like this, and then scream misogyny.
Well, I don't like that shit. Well, I mean, that's really like it's like you got a restaurant where you advertising chicken, but you trying to sell tacos, or you mad because people didn't order they didn't order the steak. Like, you didn't you didn't tell me this was a steakhouse. You said it was a chicken restaurant, so people are going to come for the chicken, and I think, and what's really sad is that, and I'm really offended by a lot of what's been happening with the persecution that's occurring under the Me Too movement. And I think that's what it needs to be called out for. It's persecution. It becomes a witch hunt. It also is interesting because it's like an aggressive usage of victimhood. It's like I'm the victim and I'm the oppressed party, but I'm gonna come and get your ass, and no matter what it takes, right? So to me, the white female is fascinating to me. The ones who are all into this Me Too white feminism thing, they're fascinating to me because they are the most aggressive group of victims I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've never been more afraid of a group of victims ever. This idea that, think about this, you send your son to college, your son lays up with a white girl, your son goes out with some white girls, they get drunk. Everybody, they get together, they have sex because everybody's drunk. The idea that she can emerge from that situation with no evidence whatsoever and go to the police and say, he raped me, and because I was drunk, I can't consent to sex. So the fact that I was drunk and I fucked him means he had to have raped me. That is a scary world to live in. That is very scary. Think about that. Everything I said is true. Please go ahead.
I feel that for men, I do. And that was part of that was part of what I said in my video about it too, as far as in this Me Too movement. Like, men are not allowed to be men anymore. And that's part of why the guy did what he did, I think, on his post. It's like, men are scared to flirt with women now. If I flirt with you, if I say this, if I say that, am I going to be, you going to turn around and scream Me Too at me or some shit, Like, I don't know. I just feel like they take it too far, too much to the extreme. They allowing all of these lying ass women to come in when at some point you have to be accountable for your actions, right? Right. I'm not going to a man's hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning unless I'm trying to give him something, right? And even if he don't try and get it, I'm gonna leave like, damn, he called me at 3, he didn't even want it. Damn, I'm surprised as hell.
What's wrong
I
with
just knew that he would want it. You know?
Well, you know, I love it. I think you're right. I think it's basically we've abandoned common sense and everything you say. And I can say this as a man who grew up with tremendous respect for the women in my family, my grandmother, my mother, my sister, my daughter, all the women, the women on my side, all the women that have inspired and influenced me. My manager's a woman. Just all the women that I respect so much. I never understood a world where men were allowed to just do whatever they wanted to with women and not be held accountable. But you know, growing up that way, you know, it's sort of like it's become very confusing, where to the point where you really don't feel comfortable engaging in anything that, you know, especially in the workplace, because it can easily be misinterpreted. You know, and so what I tell guys when I talk to them, you know, in our organization, Black Men United, is I just tell them, look, if she's flirting with you, you know, on text, save that shit. If she's sending you naked pictures, keep that so that you can use that as evidence to at least have a chance in case she comes back and says something that isn't true. Because we know that there are people out here that don't take rejection well, that have mental illnesses. You know, you get together with them, and next thing you know, they're saying you raped them, and there is no requirement of proof. Now, and I want to, I'm having so much fun talking to you, but I want to make sure I cut myself off because I don't want to eat up all your time today. But I want to show some more of that video. And everybody, I'm talking to Michelle Kolchik. She made that viral video yesterday on Bill Cosby that I just love. And I'm telling you, I think if we had 10 million women like this, our community would be so much stronger.
We could get free.
What'd you say? We could get free?
If we had 10 million women, like, we could get free, y'all.
Oh yeah. The thunderstorm would be coming if that was the case. But I love it though. I love it. So I'm gonna start where we paused it before. So let me back up just a little bit. There we go. All right.
That she would, that she might lose her job if she didn't suck the dick, right? So now this is what Me Too has turned into. Me Too don't give a fuck about black women, right? They have completely etched us out of this situation. They done took it and hijacked it, right? So even when Becky came out and started talking about all the motherfuckers that are doing shit to her, she named a whole lot of white counterparts, right? But even though Becky did that, Tom ain't going to jail. Tom ain't serving no time. Tom ain't facing no motherfucking charges, but we gonna lock the nigga up. But I don't see no white boys going to jail, right? I don't see no white boys being charged with no shit. Matter of fact, I see motherfucking white boys raping girls, even though she was white too, but he raped a motherfucking girl, right, at a party when she was passed out. This nigga got 6 months. 6 fucking months because the judge didn't want to ruin his life. Fuck kind of shit is that? See, this is the thing. We watch black people time and time and time a fucking again go to jail for crimes they have committed. We know that black people pay for their crimes. We overly pay for our fucking crimes. And a lot of times we go to jail for crimes we didn't even fucking commit. Right? We die because we just black. We die because we holding cell phones and they supposed to be guns. Like, get the fuck out of here. But we supposed to somehow be in an uproar and all of this over the white women that got raped by Bill? Let me tell you something. This might sound a little bit harsh to y'all, but ask me if I give a fuck. I give no fuck. Say it again. I give no fuck about black men raping white women. Yeah, I said that, right? I don't give a fuck until y'all start giving a fuck about white people, white men raping and mistreating black women. See, we've been raped ever since we came here. Our motherfucking identity, our bodies, our pussies, our minds, we have been completely fucking raped. But they don't pay for that, right? Right? We want to go back 30, 40 years. So, okay. Let's do that then, right? I'm sure that there's a bunch of old white men around here who lynched a whole bunch of people like 40 years ago, who was raping black women even back then. We throwing them motherfuckers in jail? I'll wait, right? Because we don't do that in this country. We only come after black people who commit crimes. So yes, I give no fuck about what Bill did to those white women. I don't. And I never will give a fuck. And I'm never going to care about how black men treat, misuse, or abuse white women, right? I will say this to you. When y'all start giving a fuck about how this country treats black women, then I'll give a fuck about you white women. Until then, I give no motherfucking fucks. And as far as you black people trying to come on here and criticize your own goddamn people, talk about, oh, fair is fair and right is right, and y'all sound crazy, Bill was wrong, and y'all sticking up for him. I ain't sticking up for that nigga. He raped them women, but I am saying, so what? I give no fuck. And while we talking about rape and all you black men want to come over here, I understand that this Me Too movement got y'all in a predicament. So sometimes y'all have to come on here and kiss ass and try and sound like politically correct because y'all don't want to get caught up in that shit, right? I understand that that's what y'all doing, but I'm gonna need y'all from a woman's perspective to calm the fuck down, right? We don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. It's a lot of black women that don't give a fuck, right? Like I said, when you start trying motherfucking white people for their crimes from 30 and 40 fucking years ago, then you could come and talk to me. I'm gonna need you black folks to lay the fuck up off of your people criticizing them because they don't give no fuck. You don't understand everything we've been through in this country? You don't understand that? We look at Bill's situation, and yes, in Bill's motherfucking situation, he was guilty of what the fuck he did, okay? But it is also a big acknowledgement and one more motherfucking time to slap in the face, knowing that Bill is not the only person that has been called to the carpet in this Me Too shit, yet and still he is the only person going to jail. When this nigga ain't even a threat. He a threat? This nigga is 80 years old. He needs something slipped in his drink for his dick to work these days. But we gonna send him to jail. I'm cool with that. I want to know when we gonna start sending the rest of these motherfuckers to jail, holding them accountable for their crimes, starting with our president. Until then, I give no fuck about these white bitches' tears. I don't. I don't care. And I never will care. And that's how the rest of our people feel. And for those of you that are black and don't understand that, I'm gonna need you to get the fuck out the sunken place. Fuck these motherfuckers till they do right by us.
All right. Okay. So Michelle, see, the lady in the video looks a little different from you. You're a little more leveled and laid out, and she's pretty. She's on fire. So let me ask you this. First of all, I got to give you kudos for your creative profanity. I give no motherfucking fucks. That was
that poet went out.
I like that. That was very poetic. It flowed off. See, that's the thing about cussing. It's gotta flow. Like the shit's gotta flow
Right?
off your tongue. If it doesn't flow, then it's awkward. Then it doesn't sound right. So congratulations on your creative expression. I love that. Now let me ask you this. Let's ask a serious question here. Okay, so there's a point in the video where you basically say, and this is the part that I'm wondering what kind of response you got on that, where you said, so what? I care nothing about black men raping white women. That's a strong statement. So tell me, what has been the reaction to that, and what do you have to say to people that, have something to say about that particular part of the video?
I did. And like I said, a lot of the reaction kind of made me sad. It came from black people, other black women. I can understand their perspective, but it was disheartening to me to watch the things that they said. One woman said to me, and this was probably will sum up most of everybody's argument that said that to me, was that how is it that you can say you don't care about somebody being raped based on the color of their skin? And I say to you, ha! They do shit to us all day long because of the color of our skin. What the fuck do you mean? How can I not care about what happens to people based on the color of their skin? You mean like they do us all day, every day in this country, right? So see, as for a black person to say that, it lets me know you're in a sunken place. It lets me know that you are suffering from Stockholm syndrome and that you really don't understand the conditions that we are in, because every day that's what happens to us. We don't give a fucking fucks about. You on here mad at me because I don't care. And let me explain what I mean when I say that I don't care. I'm not condoning rape at all. I just don't care about white people's pain or tears. And let me explain to you why I don't. Because as a black woman in this country, just like most of the black people in this country, we spend 90% of our time surviving, right? We live in constant struggle and stress, and we have learned to maintain through the damn pain, right? So that's what 90% of our time is spent doing, maintaining, learning how to survive day to day in the shit that we deal with. Like, are the police gonna pull us over? Like, are our lights gonna get cut off? Is Trump gonna fucking take these food stamps away and start giving us dumbass boxes of food, right? Like, you got single mothers raising kids, worrying about if their son's gonna come home, worrying about, let me throw a side note out there, if their daughter gonna get kidnapped and taken to sex trafficking, which these feminists are not finna fucking show up for, all these black girls missing, but y'all care so much about women, okay? We are worried about all of these things day in and day out. Our men go to prison left and right. Now our boys are going to prison through the preschool to prison pipeline. We have children being killed by police on TV in your face. Nobody gives a fucking fuck about us. And you are mad at me because I give no fucks about them. Are you serious? I'm gonna need you to like process that shit through your head for the people who feel that way. Okay, I got 10% energy left after I done got done surviving, trying to keep my motherfucking sanity, trying not to haul off and hurt nobody, trying not to be the angry Black woman when I walk into a situation and I'm treated like I'm less because I'm Black. Right? I'm spending all my time doing that. So what little bit of energy I have left, I use that for my people. Right? I still shed tears for Tamir. I don't know if y'all shed tears for Tamir, but I still cry for Tamir, right? I have a note on my mirror that says when they killed him, he was fucking 12. It says he was 12. He was fucking 12. I'm sure y'all know now that's my cuss word. Fucking, right? He was fucking 12. And then I wrote underneath there that at 12, I remember watching Rodney King be beat on TV, right? When I was 12. Okay. So at the end of the day, I reserve my tears. I reserve my strength to fight, my strength to give a fucking fuck, because we should give a fuck about something, but you save your fucks, and it should not be given to white people. They men got they back. They folks got they back. This country got their back. They punk ass motherfucking president got they back, okay? So, yes, I do not give a fuck. And I'm not wasting my tears or my energy on them because I reserve my shit for my own people. And that's what the rest of you Black people should do. So that's my answer right there.
I think it's a great answer. And I think that what, my interpretation of what you said, when you say I give no fucking fucks, I'm in alignment with that, right? I don't give a fuck, but it's not because what you're saying is not important. It's not because you think it's okay to rape a white woman, right? Rape is never good. It's that you have higher priorities. It's that it's like I can't solve all your problems when I'm trying to solve these problems over here that you're neglecting. You're not paying attention to our problems. So, it's like if somebody calls you, if your child, it needs to be rushed to the hospital and somebody calls and says, I need you to stop at the store and get me some milk. You're gonna say, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about your milk. Don't harass me about that because I'm handling something that's more important.
Right.
And I think that was my interpretation of it. And I think that's what's important for people to understand is that you're not saying that rape is okay. You're not saying okay, everybody go out and rape a white woman. You're not saying that. You're just saying we gotta take care of home first. Black people first. Black girls first, Black women, Black girls. I mean, they get pushed to the bottom of the priority list, and unfortunately, we have a lot of men in the community that do that, and I call that shit out. I think it's bullshit. I think it's crazy, so I think that what you represent, what I'm really hearing is I'm hearing a strong, passionate voice that's really advocating and saying, okay, what about us? What about Black women? And then also at the same time, what I really like about it. Let me ask you this: do you have a son?
I do. I have 3.
You have 3 sons, right? So as a Black son myself, I'm heartened by the idea that you can empathize with what Black men are feeling as we're seeing this and dealing with what we deal with on a daily basis. Because the thing about it is that there's this weird rhetoric that I heard in the Me Too movement that was almost like, if you are a man, then you are bad, you are a predator. By default, you support rape culture because you don't agree with us. And you're like, and if you're a man that believes in, showing respect for women, you're like, what? I'm a predator now? Like, what the fuck? Like no. And the thing is, I'm not gonna let you keep attacking me when I didn't do anything wrong. If you're gonna attack me for some shit that I did. Like, don't attack me for some shit that's in your head. Where your trauma, your insanity has been triggered, and you're somehow labeling me in a way that doesn't make any sense. And the thing about it is that as the white feminist sees her white man because it really is a gender war. I mean, I looked at the history of it. It goes back a couple hundred years.
Right.
Where they're like, literally, I'm going to tell you about the insanity of the white feminism. It goes beyond like the Margaret Sanger shit and all that, her plan for extermination, which so many Black people bought into. But in the early 20th century, I watched this video, I swear to God, and they literally had the feminists, and they wanted to be equal to men so bad that they would wear these things on their bodies to keep their breasts from growing. Yeah, they didn't want their breasts. They were like, we want square bodies like men. I said, what the fuck is that? That's some alien shit. That's so weird. And so when you compare that to, the strongest Black women that we see, women who are, vibrant and beautiful and givers of life and nurturers and really, express the essence of of what just Africanism is all about. You know, when black women at their best, it's like on one hand, when I see black women at their best, I just see life. I see life, light, love. I see power. And then I see the feminist movement and I see something different. It's like this weird anger. I don't know. And it goes back to, in fact, one thing it does trigger in me is it takes me back to when I was a little kid. And every time, without fail, most of the time, as a black boy in a public school system, dealing with these white women that came from the suburbs to teach me, and their fear of me or their desire to oppress me in certain ways, I remember always bumping heads with those white women in school, on the job. It didn't matter, you know. And so I personally think that, you know, that the reason this is the reason why I felt it was so important for me to support what you were saying is that I just think at the end of the day, we have to stick together. And at the end of the day, we have to be fair. I think that black people have an inherent ability to see fairness, which unfortunately can become a weakness because we're trying to run around forgiving everybody for shit, you know, which I don't agree with that. But I do think that fairness is a good thing in the sense that, you know, smart black men, we grew up knowing that, you know, when women are coming correct, you know, you don't run around just disrespecting black women. Again, that was the environment I grew up in. The women were kind of in charge. My father was there, and that taught me manhood. But the women were kind of guiding. They were feeding me. They were teaching me stuff. I talk about my grandma all the time, you know, things like that. And I think that we lose that when we try to be like them. We lose all of that shit, and you end up looking fucking stupid and crazy. You know,
Yes.
like I hate saying it, but and I'll let you get the last word on this because I talked a little bit more than I wanted to. But you know, when I look at the black women that really embrace white feminism, I see people that don't know who they are. I say to them, I say, you know, be powerful, be strong, stand up to the bullshit because we know the bullshit's out here. But don't do it. Don't be a white feminist with blackface because you're looking kind of like a coon right now because you went to Berkeley or something and they indoctrinated you into their liberal bullshit and you're coming in with all this insane, ridiculous, weird baggage that doesn't correlate with what the community's thinking, and you become an enemy to progress in the community. You know, so I'm gonna let you get the last word on this. You know, what more should people know about you in general? And you can talk about the video or answer the question, whatever you want to say. But I would like for people to know more about you just as a person, so they can humanize the video. Because I mean, I thought the video was great, and I know I said that, but I think everybody else feels that way too. Please.
Well, I wanna touch on what you said about the feminist thing, and then I'll end it with something that I want to say about myself personally. But I don't think that feminism is for black women, period. Because our issues with our men are not based in feminism, right? Like feminism is about white women wanting to be equal to their men, right? And to have the same that their men have. But when it comes to black women in this country, we are very much treated like shit equally to our men, right? Our problems in our community when it comes to black men and black women is the divide that has been manufactured between us so that we will continue to be at odds with one another. So if you really want to have more love and respect from the black men in the community, and that's what black women are fighting for, that is not really a feminist fight. That is a fight called fighting white supremacy, right? That is a fight called us finding equality. That is a fight called us learning how to come back in and fix the divide that they have manufactured from the music, from the movies, to the media telling us that men ain't nothing but players and they should sleep with as many women as they can, and black women ain't good for shit but being sex and being hoes. They pumped it into our heads, and our people are just a product of what they told us to be. Right. So at the end of the day, it saddens me to watch black women take on this. Oh, I'm a feminist, because when Becky receives her rights, you don't get yours, baby. We sisters, we're not getting ours. We're not getting our rights when Becky gets hers because we're not equal to Becky, right? So what I found feminism has done is that while they have used black women to help the momentum in the white woman's movement, right, to gain their rights, at the end of the day, feminism has done nothing but cause more division in the black community, which is probably why it was designed that way. And it works great, but that's what white people do. They're maniacally genius in this country, the way that they perpetuate the things they do to us. They don't do it blatantly, they do it psychologically. right? And that's what they do. So I'm not down with damn feminism. I love my sisters, right? I love our brothers. I love all of y'all, right? I just want us to be free, to be healed, and to be able to maintain and to be able to love and live life like everybody else, not fearing what will come because of the color of our skin, right? So I definitely think we need to work on the divide between black men and black women in the way that black men treat black women. But sisters, we treat these brothers fucked up sometimes too. Let's keep it real, right? So we need to work on that, but that's not feminism, because feminism doesn't want to watch you come together with your man, right? But while Becky is marching, she going to fuck home to Tom, and they raising their babies together, and she love her man, and he's supporting her. She's not, even though she's a feminist, she's not preaching independence and I don't need a man. But somehow feminism equates to black women saying, I don't need a man. Yes, the fuck we do. We need our men, and they need us. So stop that shit, please. The last thing that I would say is that, you know, I meant everything I said in that video. I'm not taking anything back. I'm not apologizing for anything that I said. You know, I am a black woman in this country that is angry. I am angry, and I wear that label and I take it because I have a right to be angry, right? You know, on top of everything that happens to our people in this country, and let me just go a little bit more in detail in saying that I personally really don't have a care to give, a fuck to give, a tear to shed, because as a black woman myself, we all have our own stories, right? You know, my son got caught up in the preschool to prison pipeline, and my baby was unjustly tried as a juvenile, as an adult, and given 11 years when he never done anything in his life. He was facing 33. Nobody
No,
died.
wait. Oh my God. Are you
So
serious?
the attorney gave me my money back because they did my son so wrong and they didn't know how. They threw my son in prison at 17 years old, a grown ass man, and he has been struggling to survive ever since then. So I have no fucks to give about you white bitches' tears, right? Long before Sandra Bland, my brother was murdered in a cell 21 years ago, right? They said it was suicide, but it wasn't. Okay, he never got justice. Nobody ever utters his name, right? So at the end of the day, no, I don't care, right? I'm trying to put a roof over my kid's head. I'm trying to fight for the injustices that happen to us. I'm trying to love on my people as much as I'm cussing other people out. And so I don't have the time to care, right? Like I'm just a black woman who's fucking tired. And for all the people who said instead of sitting on here ranting, do something about it, I do. Every day. I write poetry because I have found that people will not come and sit in a room like we sitting here having this conversation, you know, Dr. Watkins. But when I tried to organize events to come and speak to people about how we find our freedom and how we come together and do that, they wouldn't show up in that room. But as soon as I said it was an open mic and it was entertainment, they showed up. So guess what? Now I put everything I have to say in a motherfucking poem, and my people hear it. But every day I'm striving to try and make things better for our people. I'm not an evil woman. I'm not a mean woman, but I'm damn sure not a punk. I'm damn sure not blind. I got out that sunken place, and I understand where we are, and I see what the fuck is going on in spite of some people in this country who do not want to see the bullshit. I see it, and I'm tired of it. I'm not scared to speak up, and at the end of the day, I give no fucks, and I'm going to end it on that.
Well, you know what? I think that what you said is powerful and important. I didn't know about your story with your son. I'm so sorry about that. You know, my heart goes out to you because, you know, I had an uncle that was like an older brother for me, and he went to prison at 17. And, you know, and it, you know, I don't even want to talk about it because it affects me emotionally.
Right.
It does get you to the point where you just, you know, you don't have the patience for the bullshit anymore. You know,
Right.
that's just it. You know, you know, I think that what your family has endured, while it certainly made you stronger and made you're my hero already. I mean, just from that video, I really just, you know, I mean, I said you were my hero in the video. And I said it because that's literally how I felt. And, you know, and you're right though. You know, I think that idea that you had to go and do an open mic to get black folks to come together to talk about our problems, that's why our problems don't get solved, because ain't nobody real serious about getting serious. Everybody want to be entertained, you know. And so I think that, but to that point, I will say this, you know, now that I know about you, and I see the star power and the intelligence and your ability, I'm going to be as one of the many people that will support you. I will support, if you do events, I will tell people about the events. I will invite you to our events. I will invite you on my channel. I will connect with you and allow you to express that beautiful, wonderful, amazing, extraordinary voice in every way you see fit. Because this is the battle that we're in. We need those voices in the media, and we need to eliminate the bullshit that's being fed to us in media. You can't go to any major media outlet right now and hear a voice like yours. Why is that? Well, because you live in America. You live in a country that doesn't want to hear a voice like that. They would write it off. Oh, she's crazy, or she's bitter. She's no. Maybe, but you know what? I take that back. I'm crazy and I'm bitter, but that shit is enough to make you crazy and bitter. If you're
It
not
is.
crazy and bitter and pissed off about what's been done to you, then you don't have a pulse. So, I'll say, I know at some point I'm loving the conversation. I could talk forever, but I know at some point all great things have to come to an end. But this is a temporary ending, sister. I'm gonna give you my information after we get off the air. You can come back anytime you want, and then also, I'll share my space with you and support what you're doing. And I hope everybody that you said you live in Colorado now.
Yes.
Okay, I hope that everybody that's around you in Colorado knows what kind of vibrant leader they have in their community. And I just hope and pray that whether you hold an open mic or an open forum, that everybody shows up because they know what they're getting. They know that you're literally getting one of the greatest voices I've ever heard in my life. I heard your video. I said, this is one of the best videos I've ever seen ever. And I've seen a lot of stuff. So I just want to encourage you, sister. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It's been a real
Thank you. And thank you again for having me. Thank you for giving me a platform to say what I had to say. I appreciate it.
Yes. And thank you, everybody, for checking us out. Make sure you subscribe at intellectualchocolate.com if you haven't signed up at intellectualchocolate.com. The goal is to hear from Black voices that are intelligent and strong and powerful. So feel free to sign up. And also, if you're in Chicago, I'm in Chicago for one more day, and then we'll be in Dallas next. And so if you want to check out the whole tour, go to fjtpowernomics.com. That's fjtpowernomics.com. And so until we meet again, please take care. God bless, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.